Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Daytime Looker podcast. I am your host, Testy McNasty. With me is the man, the myth, the legend, Alex. What is up, homie?
Not much. Just
Glad,
here.
glad to see you.
Yeah, good to be here.
We always start this podcast off with a toast. If you do not have an alcoholic beverage in your hand, please pause the video and go fetch one. Now that you're back. Sometimes the puppet master tickles a string to guide our hearts towards a sinister thing. Let us hope we are wise and can recognize the beat so as not to dance with manipulated feet. Cheers.
Sure.
Today's episode is called Y'all So Stupid because today's episode is all about how easy it is to manipulate human beings. Did you know?
Pretty easy.
It is pretty fucking easy.
It is.
Pretty fucking easy. Adriana Celentano was an Italian pop singer. And in 1972, he was getting very frustrated because even in Italy, a lot of the top 10 pop hits were all American songs in English, which is frustrating for an Italian singer. He was trying to put shit out. You know, everybody thinks American music is better because it's American music.
Sure.
We've been trendsetters since jazz. What's that, 1930s, 1940s, something like that?
Yep.
So he decided he was going to write a pop song in English. There was only one problem. He didn't know how to speak English or write English or sing in English. So he wrote an entire pop song in gibberish
In gibberish.
that was intended to sound like English. And this is what it sounds like.
Called the Brandy Girls. Old something.
And it just
and we bought it, and we
America didn't buy it.
well, it made it a big hit.
It was number one in Italy because all the Italians were like, fuck yeah, it's another American hit. It was number one in Italy. It was number two in Belgium. It was number 5 in the Netherlands. And it did pretty respectably all across Europe
Right.
because at the time, that was what was popular. The only word I ever fucking recognized in that song was, all right.
I heard freeze. And I heard a couple of words, right? But it's like, that is pretty gibberish. Like,
I like when it goes, brrr.
like we use it.
Yeah.
Like we use it
Every day I walk around going, brrr. He threw some Mexican in there.
Right?
Just for fun. Just to kick it up a little bit.
All the Americas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, north, south,
Yeah.
the Gulf
Yeah.
is all included.
Yeah.
There was a man named Ravi Zacharias who was a apologist. He was born in India. He moved to America. And I used to listen to him. He's dead now, but back when he was alive, I used to listen to him on Spotify. And he said, here in America, when people are trying to sell like snake oil to you, like, oh, we have this new product that will cure all your diseases, make you handsome, make you skinny, they say, this is what the gurus in India use. But in India, when they're trying to sell you like snake oil, they're like, American technology has produced this. So it's just like, it's the grass is always greener, right?
Right.
It's like, what we have is familiar. Yeah, it might be working, but hey, what's over there?
Over there is better, right?
Over there has to be better because it could be anything.
Yeah.
It's like the mystery box. Do you want the $100 bill or do you want the mystery box? Well, the mystery box could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be $100 bill.
It could be $1,000.
It could be $1,000 bill. Yeah. So I mean, I think human beings just have a natural tendency to. We don't give. We want something new. I guess. I don't know. What is it?
It could be that. It could be. I mean, could be 100 things, right? Like you said, it could be the grass is greener on the other side. Is it always greener on the other side?
No,
No,
it's usually full of shit.
Right?
It's only greener over the septic tank.
and it'll smell like shit.
And it smells like shit too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just one of the many ways that humans can be manipulated. In 2018, do you watch a lot of like news and shit?
I used to, yeah.
In 2018,
I get a lot of news clips now on my phone, right? So
yeah,
we don't have like cable TV or anything. So
yeah,
I get a bunch of my news that comes across my phone. And
yeah. That
if
one
I'm
little.
interested, I click on it. If not, I just swipe it or whatever.
In 2018, this came out in all the little 24-hour news channels. Payless did set up a pop-up shop. They changed their name to Paylessi, Palessi. I don't know how you pronounce that, but they made all their products look real expensive. They placed it like a nice,
a shoe store.
like Payless, the shoe store, made an expensive pop-up
Really?
called Paylessi.
The guests at our grand opening party had no idea.
They're elegant, sophisticated.
I just think it's so classy.
And I could tell it was made with high quality material.
As you can see from the video that we just showed, all the influencers, they got all these influencers off TikTok and Instagram and shit. They were like, oh my God, you could tell the quality stitching in the shoes. And oh my God, this is wonderful.
What?
And then at the end of them, they go, these are actually Payless shoes. These are not $200, $400, $600 shoes, which is what they were paying for the shoes. And then they're like all embarrassed, like, oh. And then they go, you can buy these same shoes at Payless for $19.95 that fool these influencers. So I think humans have a fallacy that if something's expensive, we assume that it's good.
It's good.
Even though
The best quality.
the best quality.
Yeah, the top shelf, right?
And it also proves you that influencers aren't experts in their field of expertise. Influencers set up a camera. They're good at setting up a camera,
Right.
getting a good camera shot. That doesn't make them experts at quality stitching and shit.
Right.
It just means they're good at making little TikTok videos.
Right.
One day I hope to be good at making little TikTok videos. But
You should really see his TikTok video on making enchiladas.
hey, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
The white boy enchiladas.
The white boy enchiladas.
Hey, my name is Ben Blair, and today we're making white boy enchiladas.
Yeah.
Somebody said this looks like it was filmed on a toaster. It was 2020. I was locked in the house. That's when I made that one. That was my first foray into this shit. But back to assuming that just because something is expensive makes you think it's good. There are stories of Maine. The prisoners in Maine would have prison riots if they got fed too much lobster, because lobster used to be considered a trash food. There in Maine is plentiful. You just have to throw out the traps and shit.
Yep.
You pull them up. Like if you order in a restaurant, what are they bringing out with? They bring it out with a huge cup of melted butter.
Sure.
Because lobster doesn't taste like anything. It
Right.
tastes like nothing. You have to drown it in butter
Yeah.
to make it taste good. And I'm assuming in prison they weren't giving you a cup of butter. They were just slamming the lobster in the middle. And that shit's easy to overcook. You overcook it, it gets rubbery.
I guess I'm going to commit some crimes in Maine.
So you could go get locked up and get some lobster. But they would freak out because they considered it a trash food until they start collecting it in Maine and then shipping it by train to the inner part of the United States. You have to buy a bunch of ice and keep it cold or else it goes bad.
Right.
All that ice makes it expensive. So something that's cheap in Maine, by the time it gets to inland America, it's really expensive. And people are like, ooh, I want the $20 lobster. That must be good if it's $20.
Right.
And then they're like drowning in butter and internet and they're pretending like it's the best delicacy. It's like you can sit there and sip on the butter without the lobster. It's going to taste exactly the same. Yeah. So it's just another example of people thinking just because something's expensive makes it better.
Right.
I'm gonna do an example from me as a pharmacist. There's something called Norco, which is hydrocodone,
Sure.
and it's not just the Norcos, but like all the other medications. There's always people that want to come in, and they're like, "I want the brand name only. The brand name only works for me. The generic doesn't work for me." Are you one of those people?
No,
Do you always
it
request a
doesn't-
brand name?
No, it doesn't work for me either way.
The brand and the generic doesn't work for you?
I've used so with my leg, right?
Uh-huh.
When it was hurting really bad, the doctor prescribed hydrocodone,
Sure.
right? And I was still in pain. Like it wouldn't. Taking 3 Tylenols
Yeah.
would be better for me. Would work better than the hydrocodone.
Nice.
And I'm like, why even
take it?
take it?
I'm glad you got off them because those
Well,
things
no,
can be addictive.
it was like, and I did. I mean, I took them for a while, but it wasn't like every time I was in pain. It was like I take
When you got to
in
the
the
point.
morning, probably a hydrocodone like around noon or so,
Mhm.
and then I take one before bed.
Yeah.
And then it started with like, because I couldn't sleep or whatever, and then so I take one at noon and then 3 Tylenol PMs.
Yeah.
At night to sleep.
That's a lot of Tylenol
It
PM.
is, right? But it was
Knock you out?
painful and it
Yeah.
knocked me out, right? It hurt.
Yeah.
It would work better than the hydrocodone,
Mhm.
right? So I've never had the generic kind.
Sure.
My doctor has always prescribed the hydrocodone.
Yeah. Well,
And
the hydrocodone is a generic.
it
The
is-
Norco would be the
oh,
brand
the
name.
Norco. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So either way, I've never had the Norco.
Yeah.
I've always had the hydrocodone.
Yeah.
And so I guess I don't know if
If there is a difference.
if there is a difference, but
Yeah.
the hydrocodone. And I always told, like my wife and like, I don't understand how people get hooked on this.
It doesn't do shit.
It doesn't do anything. I was like, I'm still in pain.
Yeah.
Like it still hurts. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. So I just quit taking them.
There's
And
people predisposed to
I
addiction.
I guess.
Yeah.
But like I went one time to go pick up my hydrocodone because every once in a while I get like gout or whatever,
Sure.
and it hurts, right?
Yeah.
So, so what happened was the pharmacy called me saying it was ready,
Mhm.
and I never picked it up.
Yeah.
Right. So then one day I told them, I said, we need to go because it's killing me, right?
Yeah.
So we pull up, and the lady said, "It's been picked up already."
Oh.
I said, "Well, by whom?" I said, "Because I didn't pick it up, and she didn't pick it up.
Mhm.
Like, by whom?" So then she was like, because then I have to make her do work, right?
Sure.
So then she's got to figure out.
Who picked it up?
Right.
Yeah.
And so she's like, comes back, and she's like, "I don't know who picked it up, but it was picked up." I was like, "Well, it's a controlled substance.
You're supposed to show
You
ID.
I got to show you my ID on it.
Yeah.
Who showed you the ID? Like, it
It wasn't me.
wasn't me."
Yeah.
So then she's like, really looking at me like, "Yeah, right, right." Then I looked at her and said, "Hey, how many 300-pound druggies do you know?" like I'm not
The long ass
addicted to-
few man shoes.
Yeah, right. Like, come on. So then she went back and she's like, "Okay, well, it wasn't picked up; it was put back."
Oh, that's a big fucking difference.
I said,
That's a
"Okay."
big fucking
Yeah.
difference.
I said, "Well, then fill it, and I'll be back in like 30 minutes." I was like,
That's
"Are you kidding
fucked
me?"
up. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So I was like, so addicted. Like you said, maybe I'm like,
Not
I don't
predisposed.
understand how people can get addicted to this,
Yeah.
but it's there, right? Opioids are.
Oh, yeah, it's a big problem right now.
Big problem, right?
Yeah.
But
The thing that pisses me off most about as pharmacists is when people call in and they're looking for the yellows. They want the yellow colored hydrocodone. And like
what's the difference?
there's no difference. That's
Oh,
what
there
I'm
is no
fucking telling
difference.
you. There's no difference between the brand. There's no difference between generic. It's
Okay,
only
so
the color of the fucking pill.
What makes them think that there's a difference?
So originally I thought it was like a marketing thing. I thought these motherfuckers must be taking their prescription and selling them on the street. And like you can get $5 for a white Norco, but you can get $10 for the yellow Norco. So that's what I thought. That's what I assumed. I have no idea. But then I had a patient in the nursing home and he was refusing the white Norcos. He said, "I have to have the yellows. I have to have the yellows." And like, he was laying around in pain, and you can't have a patient laying around in pain.
Sure.
It's a state tag if they catch you having a patient laying around in pain. So I called all the pharmacies around the area. The HEB had the yellows. I personally took the prescription to HEB to get it, bring it back, and he saw that it was yellow. He popped it. He was like, "Oh," and like before he could even like kick in, before it even digest, he's like, "Ah," like fucking. So it's all psychological.
Sure.
It's all psychological. I don't know what makes the yellows better than the other ones. Nothing makes the yellows other than it's yellow. And And I guess the yellows are harder to find. And if it's harder to find,
It
must be better. I don't fucking know. I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna tell my pharmacist I need the yellow
I need
one.
the yellows, motherfucker. She's really gonna go like this. Because when they call me and they're like, "Could you check what color the Norcos are?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I put the phone down. I'll do my work for a little bit. And I'm like, "They're white," and they're like, they hang up. And like, I don't even go and look because fuck them, fuck them. There's no difference between the white and the yellows. There's no difference. God damn it, there's no difference between the white and the yellows. Anyway, that's just another way that fucking humans are fucking dumb as fuck. You know what catfishing is?
I do, yes.
Not like fucking.
No.
Yeah. When you.
I love that show.
Yeah, there you go.
I love
Okay,
that show.
it was made famous by that show.
Yep.
But like in modern times, you set up a fake profile pic and all this shit. I have a catfishing story from way back in the day, and I asked a buddy of mine if I could share it, and he said I could share it. I'm not going to mention his name, but we were freshmen in high school, and we were in ROTC, which is like the thing I took so I could get out of gym. You have to wear the little.
Yep.
I could shoot a pellet gun and wear the uniform instead of fucking playing basketball or whatever, which I sucked at. So
Were you any good at ROTC?
I was gonna shoot a pellet gun, but then they put me in competition. I would choke
yeah.
because like fucking I'm not good under pressure apparently at shooting a pellet gun. But anyway, my buddy was also in ROTC, and there was this gay dude named Daniel, and that's not his real name. I'm just using a fake name. And Daniel and my buddy were at a competition somewhere, and he was like, "Hey, you'd be really good for my sister." And he was like, "Who's your sister?" He goes, "Oh, my sister is Vanessa. She was the baton twirler for our school." But again, it's a fake name. She graduated a year ago because she was a senior last year, so now she's a freshman in college, and we were freshmen in high school.
Okay.
And he said, "But you'd be perfect for her. She likes guys like you." And my buddy was like, "Okay." So he goes and he looks her up in the yearbook. He's like, "Oh, she's gorgeous, beautiful face, beautiful body, everything." So he tells Daniel, "Yeah, fuck yeah, hook me up with your sister." So at some point he gets a phone call, and it's a woman's voice telling him, "Hi, I'm Vanessa." And they start talking. They start having long conversations. He's like, "Oh my God, this girl is so into me. She calls me every night. We talk for hours. It's great." And so eventually it's spring break, and Danny goes, "Hey, my sister's coming home from college for spring break. Why don't you come over and spend the night? You can finally meet her." So my buddy goes and spends the night at Danny's house. And the next day he comes and tells me, he's like, "Well, I lost my virginity." And I'm like, well, first I'm jealous because I was still a virgin at that time. And I'm like, "Fuck, you lost it better quicker than me? What the fuck? How the fuck?" And then he goes, and I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, I don't remember." And I'm like, "What the fuck you mean you don't remember?" And he goes, "We stayed up all night. I was waiting for her to show up. She never showed up. So finally I passed out. And then when I woke up in the morning, Danny was like, 'Hey, did you have fun with my sister last night?' And he was like, No, I don't remember." He's like, "Oh, it must have been that good that you passed out afterwards or something." And he's like, "No, I don't remember anything." So Danny had told my buddy that the sister had come and they had like had sex or whatever, but he doesn't remember it. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with all this. So, and this is a side story that has nothing to do. It has a little bit to do with the story. This dude Danny, when I met him, we were having a conversation. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go buy some tape for some rap group that just dropped," and he had told me, "Fucking, oh, you don't need to buy it. I bought it. I didn't like it that much, so I'll sell it to you for half price." I'm like, "All right, fuck it. I'll buy it off you for half price." And so I gave him the money. He brought me the tape next day, and it was like a recorded tape. It was like when you put the two tapes in the deck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Bro, I paid you because I thought this was going to be the real tape, not like a fucking copy. I get these for free from buddies of mine."
Yeah.
He's like, no, the real tape's inside. I accidentally broke the outside of the tape, so I unscrewed it and screwed the real tape into the... Exactly. So that's the type of shit that I'm like, fucking, it's already, this dude's a fucking liar. All right. So then I'm like, and that happened, so this happened, and I'm like, there's something wrong. So we go and Vanessa's younger sister still goes to high school with us. So we go and confront her and say, "Hey, is Daniel your brother?" And the little sister goes, "Is he spreading rumors about Vanessa again? Don't believe him. Everything he says is a lie. Don't believe anything he said, and tell him to stop spreading rumors about my sister." So it turns out the whole time it was Daniel making a girl's voice and talking to my buddy all night long. He was falling in love with this chick because he thought it was a beautiful baton twirler.
Yeah.
And when he finally found out, he was like, "Oh, I feel so gross because his voice sounded just like a girl."
So what happened the night that he
Oh, I don't
passed
think I think he just passed out and then the dude
Oh,
lied to him. I don't
right.
think he got butt raped or anything.
out?
If that's what,
Well, no,
if that's what you're implying.
Maybe something else, right?
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
not butt rape, but
Yeah, I don't think because he didn't remember anything happening. He remember going to sleep. He remember waking up. I don't think he got
but
molested.
like, did he get drugged or
I don't think so.
no?
I don't think so.
I just heard a song from Sublime.
About getting date rape.
Date rape. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't for date rape. I'd never get laid. I don't think he got date raped. I think he just got lied to. I told you that story so I could tell you this. Years later, I had another buddy that was working at Circle K. And the good thing about having a buddy that works at Circle K is he will let you steal beer from Circle K. So he would call us and like, okay, the manager just left. Y'all can come now. This area is seen by the video camera. This area is dark. They can't see it. If you want something from this area, just bring it to the counter. We would like give him money. He would pretend to ring it up and he would give us the exact same money as change. And then we take the beer. So that was fun. But Danny got a job delivering the newspapers and the magazines to Circle K. And Danny told my other buddy, hey, I think my sister would be perfect for you.
No.
So he was already having phone conversations. And then we walked in one day to steal beer. And he was like, yeah, I'm talking to this girl, Vanessa. She's fucking hot. Do you remember her? She was a twirler. And my other buddy goes, do you know a guy named Daniel? And he's like, yeah, he's the one that introduced us. And he's like, no. And he tells her the whole fucking story. And so then when he got off work, they went to Danny's house and they yelled some shit out their window. And then Danny came out, got in his car and chased him. And my friends are not gangsters. They're not going to fight him in the street or anything. But yeah, years later, that dude was still doing it. Now look,
What?
this was back in the 90s. You could not be outwardly gay without getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he was just looking for love in all the wrong places. I mean, he doesn't fucking... he was trying to see what he could get, or maybe he just wanted that emotional connection. I don't know. But you don't need an internet profile of Catfish. You can do it over the telephone. Just FYI. You just have to be able to have a girl's voice.
Real quick side story about your buddy working at the convenience store
Mm-hmm.
and getting free beer.
Yeah.
Well, I used to work at a convenience
Hey, you would let your buddy steal?
Let my buddies take beers.
Yeah.
So it was actually, now he's my brother-in-law.
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
good.
Right?
Good man
So,
to know.
Yeah. So he would show up. Actually, I would only do it to two people, him and another guy.
Yeah.
Right. And both guys, my brother-in-law, now my brother-in-law, but back then, he would take the beer, he'd drive to the beach,
Oh, shit.
and start a bonfire.
Yeah.
And after work, I'd drive to the beach and we'd drink all night.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the other guy lived literally right around the corner from the store.
Yeah.
And he, I would always give him like 2 12-packs, right? And every Friday and Saturday night, right? So I'd go to his house and I'd drink free beer.
Yeah.
Right. So his name was Big J, right? So we called him, right?
Yeah.
This guy is a big guy, probably like twice the size as me.
It wasn't the ironic.
It wasn't the ironic. He was like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
2 feet
He was
tall.
actually Big J.
He was a Big J, right?
Yeah.
And his dad was even bigger,
Oh, yeah.
and the kindest hearts. Guys were excellent.
Yeah.
Just don't drink their beer.
Understandably. Understandably.
So Big J's dad had his own ice chest with his beer. Big J had his own ice chest with their beer, and they had another ice chest with everyone else's beer.
Yeah.
If you brought beer, put it
over
one,
there. Don't
right?
stay out of
Don't
this one.
Stay out of these, right?
Yeah.
And except me, I'd show up empty-handed, and Big J would open up his cooler
And give it to you.
and pop me a beer and hand it to me, right?
Yeah.
So one night, there was a guy that worked with me, but Big J was a year or 2 younger than me.
Yeah.
But there was a guy that went to school with Big J, and he would show up to the parties, right, every once in a while, right?
Uh-huh.
He noticed that Big J would give me a beer, or I would just go
Get a beer.
to his ice chest and get a beer. So he found it upon himself to open up Big J's ice chest.
Did he get his ice kicked?
No, no. So grab the beer, and Big J's like looking at him, right? And he opens up the beer, right? And right before he took a sip, Big J says, "Hold on, I have a toast." Right? And I said, "Okay, right." So there's 20, 30 people there at his house,
Yeah.
right? And so everybody comes around, and Big J stands up and he says, "This beer here, it wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Alex.
Yeah.
Alex, salud."
Yeah.
Right? So everybody, brings up their bottle, right?
Uh-huh.
And the guy brings up his bottle and he goes,
He makes it shoot out like a fountain.
he's like, right? He's like sucking it down, right? And then at the end, he's like, "Big J, why'd you do that?" He's like, "Don't ever grab my beer." He's like, "Well, Alex grabbed your beer." He's like, "I just gave a toast saying that this beer here wouldn't be here
Without
if it
Alex.
was Alex." He's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
That's a classier way
Yeah,
to show
yeah.
him instead of just kicking his ass.
Yeah,
So good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So,
That's funny too.
yeah. So me and Big J always got along really good. So this, story that with the working at a
And a convenience store and stealing beer. I'm reading a book called Propaganda by Edward Bernays, and there was I'm not done with it. I wish I had finished, but I don't read as fast as I used to. I used to be able to knock out a book quick, and now my brain is a lot slower than it used to
doesn't
be.
comprehend.
Doesn't comprehend. I got to read a few times before it sticks. But there was a really good quote out of this book. Because, most of America used to be illiterate, right?
Sure.
Most of the world used to be illiterate.
Yeah.
But there was a huge push in America to make sure that every man could read and write. And they thought, once every man can read and write, we'll have a real democracy because everybody will be able to decide for themselves. They'll be intelligent. They'll be able to comprehend what's going on. And this dude says, reading and writing did not give each individual man a mind to fit and rule. Instead, it only gave them a rubber stamp inked with advertising slogans. So just because a man can read and write doesn't mean he can think for himself.
Sure.
Just the ability to read and write made it easier for them to hand off propaganda to the motherfucker and
Right.
oh, I need
But
to
now
buy a
they can read it
Chrysler.
right?
Yeah, now they can read the propaganda. But it's hard because at what point everyone should think for himself, but you can't live life questioning everything. At some point,
Sure.
you gotta if you go to HEB, you gotta assume what's in the box is food, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're sitting there and reading every ingredient and trying to Google every ingredient, you're still taking the word for whoever website you pop up on that they know what they're talking about.
Sure.
About even if you go and get a chemistry degree about every little fucking ingredient in the Lucky Charms,
Sure. You still gotta take
the teacher's word for it.
right?
Yeah, that they know what they're talking about. So it's important to think for yourself, but it's also impossible to not take other people's words for things. And I don't know where the point is where we draw the line. Personally, I do know where I draw the line. Is I will take most people's word for it unless they say something absolutely crazy that I'm like, that sounds crazy.
Out of line, right?
Yeah, out of line.
Sure.
But if you're saying something normal, I'm gonna believe everything you say until I catch you in a fucking lie. And then once I catch you in a lie, everything you say after that, I'm going to be like, this motherfucker's the type of motherfucker that lies. And that's why I don't watch the news anymore, because I got lied to too many times by the news.
They're the highest paid liars. That's
Yeah,
what I always
exactly.
Say. I always say the meteorologists are the highest paid liars.
Whoa.
But
It's going to be a sunny weekend. Take your kids to the beach. It's raining.
out there. We have a 2% chance to rain. It's
Mhm.
going to fucking
That's
rain.
that 2%.
If it's
Yeah.
99% chance to rain,
Go.
Just go. It's going to be sunny outside.
Well, there's that dude Kramer that was on one of the shows, and he would do stock tips. And there is a app called Inverse Kramer, which is whatever Kramer says on the show, the app will get you put your money in the app and it buys the opposite of those stocks. Like if he
Really?
recommends a stock, they short the stock. If he says short the stock, they buy the stock too. And the reverse Kramer has done well better than Kramer does
Really?
on the fucking stock market.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Reverse Kramer, huh?
Yeah, if you want to get the app and fucking put some money in the app,
Yeah, why-
it's doing pretty good apparently.
Huh.
I don't have any money in the
The
app.
media. I don't have money to throw.
Throw away at reverse Kramer. But anyway, it's just I don't know, where do you draw the line for thinking for yourself and
I'm-
just believing everybody
I'm
else?
with you, right? Like
Mhm.
you know, and maybe it's because how we were raised or whatnot. Like
Mhm.
you have to take the other person's word.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, right? But you know, you got to take it
Mhm.
until you
They prove you
you're
wrong.
Like, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
there's a guy at work, right?
Yeah.
He's fairly new, and he likes to talk a lot, right? And I don't get me wrong, I like to talk. You know,
Sure.
my kids can prove it to you, right? They talk for hours on end, right? But when you start talking, and then you're kind of like, what is he saying? Like, this doesn't even sound right, bro. Like, okay, and then you're like, okay, whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
I normally just tune him out, right?
Yeah.
You know, because you
You got work to do.
We'll never get work done. You know?
Yeah.
So, but I'm with you. Or at least that's the way I think, right? Like, I'll take your word for it
Yeah.
until you sound kind of like off the wall, right?
Yeah. Well, America used to be an honor-based society. Like your word was everything. So that's back when like somebody called you a liar, you would take your glove off and slap them
Sure.
and fucking
Yeah.
because your word was everything.
Yeah.
If somebody proved you a liar, nobody would do business with you.
Right.
You couldn't because even though there was money and stuff, you still had to like trade a lot of shit. And they're like, oh, well, fucking he fucked over Frank.
Right.
Don't do business with him. You fucking starved to death.
Right.
It was
Right.
an
No,
honor-based
absolutely.
society. So like, if somebody dispersed your word, you had to kill the motherfucker, or else like you might starve to death.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're not in an honor-based society anymore.
Everybody be dead, bro.
Yeah, everybody be dead, like fucking slapping
There'd be
people
no
around.
politicians.
Oh, well then maybe we should go back to being an honor-based society. Maybe we fucking missed out. Maybe we need to go back. Sometimes the old ways are the better ways.
That's right.
Another thing that pisses me off, I got a weird hobby. I got a really weird hobby. And I know it's bad for me, and I know drinking's bad for me, I know smoking the cigar is bad for me. I got another habit that's bad for me, and it's arguing with motherfuckers online. I love to fucking go. I have a love-hate relationship where I go on, like somebody says something, I'm like, that's not right, and like fucking I put all this shit, and they put all this shit, and then we like argue for a while, and like I enjoy it. I keep refreshing. Is he gonna comment again? Oh, good. Now I get to fucking talk some more shit. So, but like the thing that pisses me off about arguing online is everybody's like, source? What's your source? What's your source? Oh, it's a beautiful day outside. Source? What's your source? It's like fucking I'm looking out the window. So many people appeal to authority. So many people like, if somebody with authority hasn't said, if some expert hasn't said it, if some news organization hasn't said it, then it's not true. And that's not true. There's fucking fundamental facts all around us that you don't need some news source to say to believe it. And like fucking, even when I come with my source, here's my source. He's like, oh no, that's a bad source because it disagrees with what I already believed in. Here's a good source that says the opposite. This is the good source.
Sure.
Yours is the bad source. And I am fucking so sick of the appeal to authority. And I get it. Like if you're sick, go to a fucking doctor.
Sure.
Don't fucking listen to grandma when she tells you you can wrap it in oatmeal.
Put some
Robitussin and put some Vicks on it. Yeah. No. Go to a doctor if you're sick. Go to a mechanic if your car's broken down, unless you got a brother-in-law that knows how to fix cars, and go to him. So there's sometimes where it's good to appeal to authority, but you can't appeal to authority for everything. You gotta fucking do a little thinking of yourself, and it goes back to what we were just talking about. Where do you draw the line? Where you appeal to authority or you think for yourself? Because if we're just waiting for like an authority to tell us everything to do, are we just fucking robots? Okay. Sure. The TV told me to be mad about this. I'll be mad about this today. The TV told me to stop being mad about this. I'll be stop. At some point, you gotta fucking think for yourself. I don't know. What happens when the authority has your worst intentions in heart? What happens when the authority is trying to manipulate you into doing something that is good for them and not good for you?
Isn't that every day?
That's every fucking day.
Every day.
Every
On
fucking
everything.
day. On everything.
Yeah.
That's why I don't watch the news anymore. I do think we're at a point in American history where podcasts like we're doing right now are more mainstream than like the 24-hour news channels like Fox and CNN and MSNBC. And there's still people that say, oh, you must watch Fox. I don't watch Fox.
Right.
I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch CNN. If it's a 24-hour news channel, I assume it's full of shit, because news used to be like an hour a day. You would come home
Right.
at 5:30 or 6 and watch an hour of news, and that was it. If you got to fill up 24 hours with news, 23 hours of that is going to be bullshit, because you're just trying to get people afraid and angry and watching TV. So, like, you get your news on your phone. Like, I get my news from TikTok. Like, everybody's on their phone now. Nobody's on their TV. We've shifted paradigms. And I think the moment that it was most evident is when Trump went on Joe Rogan, because, like, all the 24-hour news channels, except for Fox, were saying Trump's a Nazi, Trump's evil, fucking Trump's rat bastard. And then Trump went on Joe Rogan. They talked for 4 hours, and it was entertaining. And he fucking won, apparently.
Sure.
So I think we shifted where, like, all the people that are still getting their news from 24-hour news sources, they're like old people reading newspapers now, because most people are getting their news on the phone.
On the phone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like on the forefront. We're at the fucking. Even Michelle Obama has a podcast now. Did you
heard
see
that.
that?
I heard
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I heard
With her brother. He looks like. Did you ever see The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix?
No.
She's got like a black gay dude best friend.
Oh, yes.
And that's what Michelle Obama's brother looks like to
Really?
me. He looks exactly like that dude. Kind of acts like that dude. So
You know, I have.
go ahead.
So, I'm not a big Trump supporter, right?
Okay.
But it's not like I don't dislike him. Some of his values and views
Are different than yours.
are different than mine, right? I know you are a big
Huge Trump
Trump
supporter.
supporter,
Yeah.
right?
I'm a little pissed off at him lately, but that has nothing to do with anything.
So I have a buddy that
Yeah.
is definitely not a Trump
Oh,
supporter,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And
Is he crying every morning? Like,
every time we get together, he's got something to say
Oh,
about
shit.
it, right?
Yeah.
And he's just like you.
Mhm.
He goes on the internet and he puts something out.
He's the one I'm arguing with all the time. It's me and him.
I'm pretty sure he's
Bring him on here. I've been waiting for this motherfucker.
So, I don't know if that's who you argue with or not, right? But he'll put something out
Uh-huh.
and he'll back off for a few hours.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
come
check it.
back and he's like,
Oh, good. They commented.
So I hear both sides,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And I'm not one to say anything about politics.
Sure.
One is, you're probably not going to like this,
Go ahead.
I don't vote,
Oh, okay.
right?
Sure, right.
My theory behind it is, if no one votes,
Mm-hmm.
eventually somebody's going to be like, all right, well, we'll stop lying and we need to tell the truth.
No.
Which is not going to happen, right? Which is not going to happen. But that's my...
That's your theory.
That's me manipulating
Yourself?
my mind, myself. Right?
Yeah.
So that's... Because going into voting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or going into, like, knowing who you're going to vote for, right? You got this person, right?
Sure.
They're both going to tell you things that you like.
Yeah, they're going to try to be all things to all people.
When let's take Trump and
Kamala.
right? Kamala was saying a lot of great things,
Mhm.
right? Because my buddy was like, "Oh, she said this and said that." I said, "Hey, that's all great stuff."
If only she had been in power for 4 years and
I
done
told
any
her,
of
I
it.
said, but she hasn't done those things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not that she has the power.
She's not president. She's vice president.
She's
But
vice
still,
president, but
that's
she
like
could be
second in charge.
She'd be like, "Hey, how about we start doing this?"
Yeah.
Or how about we start doing?
Hmm.
She could have influenced it.
Oh, yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah.
I said she's saying all the right things.
But they only say the right things right before it's time
I
to
said, but
vote.
Trump is saying all the right things,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Who's saying more of the right?
More of the
things,
right things. Yeah.
Right. We'll find out when they get elected. Right?
Yeah.
And we all know that you don't get presidency by popular vote.
Yeah, you do it by the
Right? Because you
different
can
states.
all the popular votes. I mean, you can 100-0,
Hmm.
but that don't mean shit.
Al Gore had the popular vote, and Bush Jr. had the electoral college.
Electoral, right?
Yeah.
So and that's what we go by,
Hmm.
right? And so again, back to the, you know, I know you're a huge Trump fan. He's not a Trump fan, so every other weekend or every weekend I hear his bitching,
His take.
right? And I've never really heard yours, right? And because we don't sit,
We don't talk
we
politics.
don't talk politics.
Yeah.
I honestly think politics kills
Friendships.
friendships.
I agree.
And
Religion also.
Religion, same thing, right? Him and I, we've known each other for 20 years, right? And it took us a long time to start talking about politics, right?
Yeah.
And I don't talk politics.
Yeah.
I let him ramble about politics, right?
Yeah.
So I sit there and I'm like, oh yeah. Like, oh man, that fucking asshole, right? Like, but do I truly feel that way? Sometimes,
Sure.
right? But I try to keep my opinions to myself,
Sure.
right? So just,
As far as voting goes, I have a great idea that nobody's ever going to implement. For every election, I would love a fucking none of the above choice. And if fucking none of the above beats all the other motherfuckers, we need to do this shit again. I think that would be a lot more effective than just not voting, because then you just have liars fighting over a smaller group of the population. Sure. But no politician is ever going to support none of the above, because they're like, I don't want to compete against none of the above. What if she beats me? That would suck for me. That would destroy my ego. Right? My dad had the best solution, and we've probably talked about this before, even though we don't talk politics, is my dad always thought, at least, and we did talk about this before on the podcast,
so. Yeah.
At least the Senate and the House, no, just the House of Representatives should be like jury duty, because it's only a 2-year stint. You should get a letter in the mail and go, fuck, I got to be in the House of Representatives for 2 years. My employer is required to hold my job. Yep. And they only do a little bit. They don't work for 2 years. They meet like every once in a while and vote. And you could do that by Zoom now. Yep. You don't even need to fucking show up to DC. And then you get a better representation of the population. You wouldn't have all these goddamn narcissists that are like all about how can I make myself better. You would be like, fuck, I only get one shot. This is my 2 years, and it's going to go to somebody else.
So the other day we were at work, right? And somebody asked, so we have a lot of government contracts.
Okay.
Right? And one of the guys says, what happens if the government shuts down?
Do you still get paid?
I still get paid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does your employer still get paid?
Yes.
Okay.
But the government part, because we have military and we have commercial.
Yeah.
The military side would shut down.
Oh shit. Okay.
Right? They may not get paid.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't work for the military. Right.
You work on the commercial side.
I work for the company.
Yeah.
Right. I don't work for neither. Right. I don't work for I work for both. Right.
I get you.
Right. So I work for like the corporate office.
Half your business would not get paid.
Half the of San Antonio here would not get paid.
That's
probably,
not good.
Right? Or shut down, right?
Sure.
And so I said, well, they wouldn't show up to work.
Yeah.
Right? They wouldn't meet their quota.
Yeah.
And he's like, but what happened? I said, look, it's not gonna happen. They've been trying to shut it down for
They threatened to do it like every single fucking time.
6 months or so. They said it. If we don't approve this budget,
I remember the last time they did it. They like put like little barricades around the national parks, and like you could just walk around the barricade and still go inside the park. But like, you literally fucking went and put barricades up to show that the government was shut down. Come on.
That's crazy.
I'm a very limited government guy. Every time they threaten to shut down the government, I'm like, please shut down the fucking government. But I don't depend on government contracts, so it wouldn't affect me. And I do understand that it does affect people that get paid by the government, and I don't want that. I just want motherfuckers not to tell me what to do, just because I have a problem with authority figures, and I don't know where that comes from. Because my dad was a decent guy. He didn't like fucking. He didn't give me my hatred of authority. I don't know where that comes from. It's just in me, like deep down from somewhere.
It's the red hair.
It's the fucking it's the Irish. It's the Irish in me. Fucking. That's why I'm wearing the shirt. Fucking.
So
I think we just
guy-
like to fight.
Another guy asked, like, why? I said, look, they're not going to shut it down. I said, because they're going to approve the budget.
Yeah.
I said, because they still need to afford their $3 million house
Exactly.
and their $70,000 vehicle, right? And it's like, what? I was like, bro, government doesn't make like, oh, I only make $20,000 this year.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, like they're like $500,000 salaries, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But no, that's the thing. They're only making like 200,000,
or
and then they're worth like 75 million.
right.
It's like, how do you get 75 million from a $200,000 salary? Some fucking shit is getting slid around somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, we're not gonna solve the government's problems here. We might though. Here's the last thing I wanted to talk about: is meme pages, town hall trolls, and old people being fooled by AI. So I'm on Facebook and Twitter, and there's a lot of Facebook pages, and they're meme pages. Like, so the meme is just like the little picture that,
Sure. It has some words around it.
you know, when I was growing up, everybody would say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I didn't think that was true back then. It is definitely true now, because you can share a little picture, and like it relates to something, and it also relates to a movie, and it relates to some comic book character, and you can really get an idea across with a little meme better than you can with a bunch of words. But there are some meme pages that are like way out there, and they're satire pages, but there's a lot of people online that get tricked by these satire pages. So this is Anita's Hall of Social Justice and Intersectional Feminism. So it's a parody page. I can tell it's a parody page because it posts some outrageous shit. What you're looking at is a picture of a male body with a baby inside and a dick hanging out the front.
Sure.
So there's no way that baby's coming out unless it's coming out the butthole. But the meme is saying, oh, UC Berkeley has just updated the biology textbooks to include transgender pregnancy. And so then everybody under that picture is fucking, oh, you fucking liberals are ridiculous. You can't fucking, this is not biology. Y'all are fucking idiots. And I'm like, bro, it's satire. And I get it because our reality has moved so far left, I guess this way,
Sure.
that like you can make a joke and it seems like reality, because there's people saying that you can just declare that you're a woman and that means you're a woman and you get all the rights of a woman. And I don't believe that. I don't know what your buddy believes, but I definitely don't believe that.
He really just saying,
Yeah.
Like you were born so he's Christian, right?
Mhm.
So, his beliefs are,
Mm-hmm.
still, you're born a woman, you're born a man, you're a man.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a page that's specifically making jokes at, the far left ideas is enraging these conservatives online, because they're probably just too old to understand how the internet works, but they're on the internet anyway. And so then they're raging against this fucking satire page. And it makes me sad, because I'm like, bro, this is a comedian. And the comedian is probably enjoying all the,
Sure.
pissing the people off.
Yeah.
And then there's,
I think that's what it, isn't that what comedians,
they enjoy the
definition
outrage.
of-
I don't think they all enjoy the outrage. I think they're trying to make people laugh. Nobody's laughing. I'm laughing at the meme page, but I'm in the minority. I don't think everybody else is laughing at the meme page. This dude is a comedian. I want you to watch this.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. I'm speaking in support of items 5 and 27 because we need to expand Black voices. The voices of our African American brothers and sisters needs to be heard, especially after America chose to elect a white supremacist and educated rapist over the first African American female in United States history. And that's why it's so important, now more than ever, to be an ally to the Black community. I am in a non-traditional relationship, and the lover that my wife took is an African American with Puerto Rican ancestry, and I see firsthand the struggle that people of color go through on a daily basis thanks to my wife's boyfriend, Armando. Our country was built on a legacy of white supremacy, and we need to foster a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion here in Austin, especially since we elected a literal Nazi to be president! And my wife, she's put me on a sex strike because she is no longer able to seek reproductive health care. And before the election, I had my very own chair right by the bedroom. And now I have to watch my wife and Armando make love from the closet. And it's so lonely in there.
So it just goes on and on like that. It just goes on and on like that. And
I like your shirt though.
the white dudes for Harris. But this dude's name is Alex Stringer, and he's a comedian. He's not a traditional comedian where he stands up on stage. He's a comedian where he goes to different town hall meetings and he acts like this. He throws little temper tantrums and he posts it online and it goes viral. And a buddy of mine sent me that video. And he's like, I don't even know if I want to send my kids to college if they're coming out like this. I'm like, motherfucker, this dude's a comedian. This dude doesn't, he's
Pulling strings.
he's pulling strings, but I get you. Our world has gone so far that way that like when you act like that, it doesn't come across as funny.
Sure.
It comes across as like, oh shit, that dude's crazy, and but it's funny.
Yeah.
Did it make you laugh?
Yeah, it
Because
did.
it made you fucking look at me like this. My wife's boyfriend.
I was like, wait a minute. Did he just say my white boyfriend back in Puerto Rican?
Yeah. So fucking and later in the video he goes, I used to have a chair next to the bed, but it broke. Now they make me sit in the closet. But it is funny. That shit is funny to me. Shit like that makes me laugh. But shit like that enrages like the old people that can't tell it is comedy. And I don't know. And I don't know. I don't know how to bring those people in to say, and like I've even like posted under the videos, this is satire. This dude's name Alex Stringer.
You can't.
Yeah.
Because they're so set in their way.
Mhm.
Right? Like, you know, it's like, I mean, you got to think about it. It's like our children telling our grandparents
How to set the VCR on the fucking
right, you know, like, or how to work, you know, YouTube, right? And they're like, whatever, right? And they,
just make it play.
yeah, just make it play. Just do it, right? You know how to work a smart TV, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, right?
Just change the input for me. I don't want to fucking learn.
Yeah.
I want you to just do it.
Right?
Yeah. So we're always going to have that half of society that's trailing behind everything. Are we going to be that half of society
we are.
in the future? I don't want to be that half of society.
What's funny is that we started the future, right? The internet.
Oh yeah, that was
when
us.
When you tell our kids that we're older than the internet,
Yeah.
it fucking blows their mind.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's always been for them,
Yeah.
right? And you know, you can't tell them like, "Oh, we started it." No, because it's always been. No, you know, it's not ever been like.
Yeah.
You know,
I had to sit there and make it go before I could download my porn, damn it.
Yeah, really.
But what pisses me off the most is listening to the radio with my kids, and they're like, skip this song. I'm like, I can't skip the song. It's the radio. Do you want me to change the channel? And they're like, no, don't change the channel. I like the genre of music. Just skip the song. I'm like, I can't skip the song. It's the fucking radio. They play what they want to play.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'll put it on Spotify. We can just turn the radio off. How's that? But yeah, they don't get it.
No.
They don't get it.
It's everything's so instant now.
Yeah, everything is instant now. You can't. Even watching movies from the 80s, every once in a while I make the kids have a family movie night and we watch a movie from the 80s. And even me, I'm like, holy fuck, this movie takes like 30 minutes before it even starts. Like there's these long shots of some dude just walking down the...
Yeah.
Like, why is he walking? Just get to the fucking point. It's like, but like when you were a kid, it was like amazing. Like watching Star Wars.
Yep.
Like watching this lightsaber battle.
Yep.
When I was a kid, I'm like, oh my God, they're fighting with laser swords.
Yep.
And then watching Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi fight now is like, zoom, zoom. I'm like, wait. Darth Maul was doing somersaults and doing all this shit. What the fuck is this? This is boring.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Or, them practicing with the little robot throwing the.
Oh yeah. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah. My favorite scene is when Yoda starts fighting.
Oh,
I
in
don't
the
know, in like New Hope or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Where he starts,
the prequels.
Yeah, in the prequels.
Yeah, where he's jumping
He's
around
jumping
like
around,
yeah, that was hardcore.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, because he used to be a Muppet.
You can't even walk, bro.
He was a little Muppet going. "Roar, roar."
Yeah.
He was beating on R2D2 because the fucker took his lunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that brings me to the future. AI, like AI is getting harder and harder to tell when something's AI.
Yep.
And I follow a Facebook page called "Old People Fooled by AI," and like I don't know, during the last hurricane, it's like this man saved 3 children from the hurricane with his boat, and it's got a picture of a man. He's like holding a baby, and the rain's coming down, and then but it's on the "Old People Fooled by AI" page. And I look at it, and I'm like, dude, that dude's a hero. Why the fuck are you? And I look at it closer, and like, oh, he's got 6 fingers. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's an AI picture. It's not real. But if it was not on the "Old People Fooled by AI" page, I would have believed it 100%. I would have liked it. I've been like, fucking, God bless this man. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Huh.
So it's getting harder.
Yeah.
It's getting harder.
Even like the robocalls, right? Like
Mhm.
so.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, good. I would like to tell you like,
And it's
fucking-
like almost like instant, right? There's
Yeah.
no like pauses or. Like,
it doesn't have to think.
Yeah.
It's like immediately goes into
Yeah.
the next thing. Yeah.
That's that to me. I was like, okay, we know that nobody says, okay, great.
Yeah.
Like it's like I've worked telemarketing before.
Uh-huh.
I didn't work with her very long,
Yeah.
right? But you can tell
If it's a human or if
if
it's
it's
AI.
human or AI, right?
But it's going to get better to where you can't tell.
Get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they can even make like celebrities and politicians say things that they never said. And there's like one about I shared one of Trump going, "Oh, I'm just shout out to all the thick Latinas and shit." Like, fucking, and I was like, "This is funny," and I said it, but like, eventually it's gonna be so smooth that like they're gonna make some politicians say some shit, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this asshole said it." He's got to come out. No, that was AI.
Yep.
But how do you prove it's not AI?
Yeah.
Or how do you like fucking say something that's fucked up, and then, oh, that was just AI. That wasn't really me. And then now, but you said it
And
for
everybody
real.
believes you, right?
Yeah, and
Because-
everybody believes you because AI is fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's so hard to find the truth now. It's only going to get harder in the future, and that's scary to me. I don't think AI is going to eliminate all the jobs. I think AI is going to eliminate all the jobs where you're just doing redundant things over and over again. So you need special skills in order to compete with AI. But it's just like when we invented manufacturing, the conveyor belt system, that put some people out of work, but then there's still people that had to work the line. Oh, but in China, they have dark factories now. And they're called dark factories because they don't even bother turning the lights on because there's no humans in it. It's just robots working the conveyor belt. So they don't even turn the lights on. And I saw a video of it, and you just hear bzzz, where it's like doing the little welding, bzzz, bzzz, and then it moves on, bzzz, bzzz, and like there's no humans in it. And yeah, there's humans got to fix it when it breaks down because it's gonna break down.
Sure.
But you only need one dude to
One
fix
dude,
it.
one guy.
You don't need 200 people to work the line anymore. So
That is scary.
that's scary. Yeah,
Well, I mean, scary for people that
work the line.
work the line, right?
You gotta learn something new.
Yeah.
And then trucking industry, the trucking is something like 50% of all jobs in the United States. And we're eventually going to have self-driving cars. And I got a buddy that drives a truck, and I told him,
Do you really think we're gonna have self-driving trucks? Can you just think about it?
mhm,
How does a self-driving vehicle work?
it's got cameras, and it looks around you, and it talks to all the other cars. That's why self-driving cars are more efficient than human drivers, because you're not going to have, well, theoretically, you're not going to have car accidents because that other car is going to speed up and your car is going to slow down and get behind it. And you're not going to have a fucking idiot that's like reaching for the radio and then switching lanes and then causing the accident. But, and there's glitches, and like every once in a while, some kid gets run over by a self-driving car that didn't stop, which is horrible. But I think we're going to have self-driving cars. I think we're going to have cars. The car in the future is not going to look like that. The car in the future is going to be like just a little bubble. You just get in it and you tell it, hey, I want to go to 49th Street, and it's going to take you. You don't think so?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I-
What's stopping it?
I just think that it's like you said, you still need something to operate it. That you can't just say, "Take me here." We change roads constantly.
Construction,
Construction, right? Constantly.
My parents came to visit, and they had moved the exit to this street,
Sure.
and they didn't put up a sign. The sign was still at the old exit, and so my parents mixed the exit because it's like, well, we can't get off here, and then they missed where the real exit is, and they had to drive around and come on.
Can you
the way back.
imagine how many times they have to update?
They got to get better at updating, which they're not really good at.
Have you ever seen Cat Williams?
Yes, go ahead.
Have you seen Cat Williams live?
A couple times, yeah.
We saw him here.
Not in person, just on Netflix.
No, I saw him. We went to go see him.
Okay.
Right, Freeman Coliseum. Or
Nice.
I can't remember where. Right.
Yeah.
And he comes out, and he said, "San Antonio is the only place that he has ever been to that goes around in a circle." He's like, and the entire thing is under construction.
The whole circle.
And not one fucking person was out there.
Yeah. No shit.
No shit. One fucking person's out there.
I agree with you 100%.
Like, how do you expect to finish something
if you don't ever do it?
You don't ever do it. I mean, how long has this 1604 been under construction? Fucking 10 years?
I keep telling my kids, you're going to go to college, you're going to graduate, you're going to come back to visit, it's still going to be under construction. Yeah. When I first moved to San Antonio, I was going to my job interview with the job that I still have, praise God. I didn't know 410 was a loop, and I was supposed to get off, but I missed the exit, and I just kept on 410 all the way around until I came back the second time and like, oh, there it is, and I got off. So I was late to my interview. They still hired me.
An hour late?
I called him. I said, hey, man, I don't. He's like, just get here when you get here. And I'm like, because I was driving from Austin. They understood I didn't understand San Antonio, so thank you for being understanding. But, yeah.
When I first moved here, I had a buddy. I moved in with a buddy, and he said, let's go for a drive. So we lived off of I-10 in La Zavada.
Yeah.
So when you take Fredericksburg, right, he takes me into town, right? And he said, just notice how you go from a good part of town to
just like that.
Just like one street over, you're like, bam, you're like in the hood, right? I was like, holy shit. And then he told me, he's like, you can never get lost in San Antonio.
Because it's a circle?
Because it's a circle. He's like, 410 goes all the way around.
And then 1604 goes all the way around.
around.
And what's to do on 151?
151 ends.
It ends now, but when San Antonio grows out there, and that's the way we're going, it's eventually going to be a circle all the way around. Yeah.
I've heard that they're going to do a toll road.
On 151?
151.
And they're going to...
151 starts on 90.
Yeah.
Ends in Alamo Ranch.
Yeah.
Right? So they were thinking about making that a toll road.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. Right? It doesn't take you anywhere.
It's just another way to collect money because they'll say we need the toll to make the thing, and then when they're done making it...
Then the text on my phone will be correct.
Oh, did you get scammed?
I did not get scammed.
Yeah.
I knew it was a scam.
I wanna.
The scam came up on my phone, like, hey, they're sending out scams, like.
And then you got the scam.
And then I got it. I was like, "Ah, you stupid."
So I would like to thank my company because for about a year, we got bought out by a different company, and the first thing they did was they started sending us. They made us do like a 30-minute video where we watched about scam. We had to click on it to learn about scams, and then periodically they would just send us a scam email.
Right?
And then I'd be like, oh, my boss needs me to do a report. I'd click on it, and it would pop up. No, you dumb fuck! You stupid fucking idiot! It's a scam. We just told you about this. And I go, oh, sorry. And then they send me another one. I click on it again. And they're like, no, you fucking idiot. You're still stupid. Nobody else fell for this but you fucking idiot.
Oh, man.
And then, so, like, I got really, like, suspicious with every fucking email.
Sure.
And so then my wife got that you owe a toll road.
Yeah.
And she put in her credit card and it wouldn't accept it. And then she handed it to me and said, babe, I don't know where I got this fucking toll, but I keep putting it in my credit card and it's not accepting it. Can you make this work? And I looked at it. And I'm like, babe, this is a scam. It's like from text.o LMNOP QRS. And it's like, there's no way this is a real thing. And this was before like everybody else was getting fooled. Yeah. And so then she had to cancel her credit card, get a new one and everything. And I don't think they charged her for anything. But thank you for sending me all those scam emails because you made me very paranoid. And now, like, when I see them, I'm like,
you gotta read it right.
the first time I click on the email, like, no, this is not the right email.
We have something that like that at work. It's called fish alerts, right?
Yeah.
So we had to take a class, and
Yeah.
you know, and so every once in a while they send you an email, and it looks fucking real. Like IT is asking you, and I'm like, wait, Mike didn't say anything. Like, we meet every morning.
Yeah. and
Mike
then
didn't
mention
say
it.
anything about this. So I was like, I'll just click fish. If I don't know what it is,
You click it.
and then they'll come by and like, hey, did you get my email? Like, oh, I did, but
I thought it was
I
scam.
thought it was a scam, bro.
Or you're like, I don't want to do this
Well,
right now. This
well,
is scam.
What-
Where's that report? Oh, yeah, that was a scam. I'll get right on it.
what ours does is if you click fish and if it's a scam email,
Mm-hmm.
it'll tell you congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, whatever.
No, that's a.
Quit sending me this stuff.
I felt the same way until like my wife got scammed, and then I'm like, thank you for sending me all these scam emails, because now I'm very paranoid.
You can't.
But that Saudi Arabian prince, he's gonna send me my money eventually. So,
Eventually.
yeah,
What are you like $500,000 now?
Yeah.
Sending it to him?
yeah.
Yeah.
He just needs that to hold.
To
He's
hold.
just gonna hold it for a while.
Yeah. I'm making $10 million.
Yeah, exactly. So what does the future hold?
I don't know. I just feel bad for the kids, like
Because they got to deal with
they
it.
got to deal with it, right?
But like you were
And then they
saying,
got to deal with me, right? So.
yeah, we're gonna be the
What-
burden.
for me, I try to always ground my kids, right? Because
Mhm.
there's so much things on the internet, right? And they're like, oh, they said, I was like, what? I can't remember. Daughter said something, right? And I said, baby girl, you can't always believe what they say.
Yeah,
You know, I said maybe some of the content or is true.
Yeah.
I said, but you gotta you again going back to your point. You gotta think for yourself, right?
Mhm.
Like, where do you draw that line? Is it true? Is half of it true?
yeah.
Is it a little bit true? Is it all fake?
That's the problem. The best lies have like a little kernel of truth in it.
That's right.
Yeah,
You said that the last time, right? I remember
Probably.
you said- yeah. And it sucks for them because, like you said, it's only going to get better. The AI is only going to get better,
Yeah.
and the fake lies are only going to get better, right? And they got to decipher,
Yeah.
right, what's true and what's not.
Yeah.
Right? And I hope I've done a good job
of raising them to
trying
be
to
skeptical
teach
a
them,
little
like,
bit.
you know, like, hey, not everything is
Yeah.
real. You know,
But-
if my whole point is this: is if you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't physically, you can see it,
Yeah,
but it doesn't always mean it's true.
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like you said with the guy on the boat saving 10 kids, right? Like,
Yeah,
or 3 kids, right?
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it was just an AI
it's
image.
just,
Yeah,
was it real?
yeah.
Maybe at some point it was real.
The hurricane happened,
Maybe the hurricane.
but this dude
that
didn't
boat
fucking
out there, you know?
This dude didn't save anybody. But like you were saying, they're raised with it. They're like, my kids are all like raised with the internet. You know, it wasn't until I was in my teens
Yeah.
that we had the internet.
Yeah.
So they're seeped in the culture. So I think they're gonna do a better job with it than I am, hopefully. But it's like Bitcoin. My kids are like, Bitcoin's such a scam. Bitcoin's such a scam. But I believe in Bitcoin. I believe because Bitcoin is different than all the other cryptocurrencies out there, because all the other cryptocurrencies, they can make more, they can make less. Whoever made it can manipulate it. But Bitcoin was made kind of like where he sets it in motion, and then like you can mine a certain amount of Bitcoin, and then no other Bitcoin will ever be made. And it's like a stable object. It's like trading oil, but you're trading like a little electronic algorithm.
Sure.
And you were saying if you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't see it, it's not real. But that shit has value. And that shit, it bounces up and down.
Value of what? Like, how? Like, can you buy a house with Bitcoin?
You can buy pizza with Bitcoin.
You
The
buy
one
pizza.
over there fucking takes Bitcoin.
Right, but
Eventually, you're going to be able to buy a house with Bitcoin.
why not now? If it's being traded in the market, why
Uh-huh.
can't I buy a house with it?
I don't, if there's certain businesses that will take Bitcoin. Eventually, all businesses will take Bitcoin. Eventually. You don't believe it?
I not that I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I'd probably be dead.
But that's what my buddy who drives a truck said. He'll be dead or retired by the time the self-driving trucks come. I'm like, bro, technology moves a lot faster than you think it
You're
does.
right. You're right.
Like, it's exponential. Like, it starts here, but like when it goes up, it goes the fuck up.
Yep.
Yeah. So self-driving cars are going to come before we're retired. Bitcoin to buy a house is going to come before we're retired. I think so.
Better start buying some Bitcoin, huh?
Don't, because that shit goes up and down and up and down. Make
Well,
sure you buy it when it's down. Don't buy it when it's up. That's just volatile as fuck. I'm just saying it's
Sure.
Bitcoin solves a problem, especially like in the poorer countries where they don't have the ability to go to a bank or like do banking online. You can do Bitcoin online, and that was a problem with the Silk Road. Do you know what the Silk Road was? It was a website where you could use Bitcoin and other cryptos to buy and sell shit. And they were doing a lot of illegal shit. That's why the dude's in jail. He got pardoned by Trump. But like you could mostly drugs, but you could like hire hitmen and shit like that.
Sure. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why it got shut down. But I like Bitcoin because I like
You
it.
make a lot of money? Because I'll restart it. I'll go on the black market.
He did make a lot of money until he got busted by the
He got
cops.
busted.
Yeah, and then I don't think he's restarting it anytime soon. I think it solves a problem where you can trade like a little electronic bit and they can travel across the internet instantaneously, which is you can technically do that with money now.
Sure.
Because I could do Zelle on my phone. I can send my buddy $40, and then he can do my little black market app where I can watch all the pay-per-views for free.
We're gonna pause for the cause.
We're done, man. It's
okay.
it's an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
You got any closing thoughts?
No, I think I'm good. Thanks for having me,
Man, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I don't like doing these things by myself. I can do them by myself, but it's better to have feedback like this.
Yeah,
It's better to
sure.
have somebody to talk to, because I could do it by myself, but I don't even know if anybody's listening. I'm just staring
I
into
know
the
I
screen,
do.
fucking.
I listen to work, man.
I appreciate
I'm not
it.
gonna sit here and lie. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, your topics the last couple of weeks were pretty interesting.
Yeah. Was this one interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, because you're right. How easy is it to manipulate somebody?
It's very easy.
too
It's only going to get easier.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem.
Yep.
That's a big problem. All right. Stay vigilant out there. Don't open any scam emails. Don't fucking pay any unpaid tolls unless it comes from the official text dot number. We love you. See you next time.